14 minutes ago, Schiphol Amsterdam turned into an electrifying sea of purple, not because of the festival, not because of the national celebration, but to release BTS's Jin's departure back to Korea. Thousands of soldiers packed the terminal, forming a scene that led many to ask, how could a single figure trigger a wave of emotion of this magnitude at one of Europe's busiest airports on an ordinary morning? Is this just a post-tour farewell, or a harbinger of a new, bigger chapter in BTS's story? Since the news of Jin's departure spread on social media last night, the army responded like an army that got a sudden call. Some arrive early in the morning, some stay overnight around the airport, and some come directly from neighboring countries. As soon as the sun rises, Terminal 3's departure hall has turned into a dedication gallery. Banners bearing messages in multiple languages, a sea of twinkling purple light sticks, and chants of Jin's names echoing between glass walls. For Schiphol's veteran staff, it's not the first time they've seen K-pop fever. However, they agreed. The scale of this morning is unprecedented. Security adjustments were made at the last minute, forming a human corridor for Jin and his entourage to step into safely. Even so, no one was able to dampen the intensity of the atmosphere. Screams mixed with tears form sound waves that swallow the roar of suitcases, boarding announcements, even the sound of security scanners. When the genie finally appeared, wearing a dark hat, mask, and baggy black jacket, the crowd instantly broke out. The slow wave of his hand felt like a secret code to the thousands of people who had been waiting. Some fans burst into tears. Others raised their phones as high as they could, while some chose silence while tightly grasping the merchandise that had been worn out by time. A German fan whispered, "Half of me is happy to see it, half of me wishes time had stopped." Amsterdam holds special significance in Jin's solo tour. The city was his last stop in Europe, a stage he filled with performances that fans called emotional peaks. In his last concert, he had a silent look at the crowd, as if trying to memorize every face, every cheer. The ending song was unfiltered, full of emotion, leaving him feeling as if he realized that this was not just the end of the tour, it was the beginning of a period of questioning. This morning, the symbolism was getting thicker. Army formed an invisible pattern. Groups took turns advancing to the barricades, making sure everyone got a clear view. Some spread out white cloths that read, "Wherever you go, we are with you." There were also 2 Dutch fans raising the banner, "Amsterdam loves you, Jin," as high as possible. Even the purple color in scarves, t-shirts, and flags feels like an emotional shield against the weight of separation. Social media also exploded. Within 60 minutes of his departure, hashtags about genies and Schiphol penetrated global trends. A wide-angle photo shows the terminal shrouded in purple, while a close-up video captures the moment of its final wave. Some fans replay the footage frame by frame, looking for small signs, smiles, nods, or brief glances that may contain personal meaning. Behind all the spotlight, this breakup brings up a strategic question. Is this Jin's last international appearance for a while? Will the next chapter return in full BTS formation, or instead deepen the solo path? BTS is known as a global phenomenon, but this moment shows that even amid the lull, its emotional magnetism remains intact. AS's plane took off for Seoul. Schiphol returned to routine. The janitor collected the banners left behind, pieces of paper and bottles of water, leftovers from the sea of emotions that had just flowed. But for those present, the sound of thousands of goodbye in unison will continue to ring. This breakup isn't just an artist boarding a plane. It's a chapter in a global narrative co-written by BTS and ARMY, where distance is just a number and bonds remain unshakable. Jin is now in the air, crossing the continent to return home. But in Amsterdam, the trail, and the ARMY trail that morning, will last much longer than the scheduled departure. Because on this day, 14 minutes ago, Schiphol witnessed that music can turn an airport into the last stage of a story, before the next sheet is opened. 14 minutes after Schiphol's shock departure, we are asked to pause to ask, is what we are seeing really real, or is it just a neat fabrication to attract attention? This question is not merely speculative. It puts our reason and our feelings on the same scales, forcing us to rigorously assess evidence and motives. Isn't it easy to get carried away by a wave of emotions when thousands of people gather, purple lights flash, and short videos quickly circulate on the timeline without clear context? Why do we accept instant narration without asking where the clip came from and who benefits if the story is made enlarged? Looking at the crowd at the airport, most of us tend to accept the big narrative. Idols go home, fans cry, historical moments are caught on camera, and yet, does the spread of that footage through easily manipulated platforms leave us vulnerable? How often do clips that seem convincing turn out to be taken at different times or infiltrated by edits that trigger overreactions? Why do we rarely ask who uploads first and what their importance is? Shouldn't motives always be part of fact-checking? Provocative statement. Social media algorithms choose content that triggers emotions, not the truest. Isn't that changing the way we understand the truth? If a video is cut to emphasize drama, are we seeing an event or narrative engineered for virality and engagement? Ask yourself, did I verify the source? Or was I swept away by a stream of comments, thousands of likes, and momentary sensations? Let's consider the chronological evidence. Are there any official statements from airlines, airports, or artist management that support the claims of large crowds? If the main claims only come from individual uploads on TikTok or short clips on YouTube, how much weight does it weigh to establish the facts? Don't credible mainstream media usually do basic verification before reporting, or is there a tendency for them to go viral as well? There is a motive to be questioned. Who benefits from this sensation? Promoters, content creators, platforms that get engagement, or those who want to divert attention from other issues? This question is important because the entertainment and media industries often share an interest in creating viral moments that magnify the narrative. Not everything that goes viral is evidence. Often it's just a side effect of the attention economy. Let's get the reader to do a simple fact check. Check upload times, geotags, metadata if available, compare multiple videos from different viewpoints, and look for coverage from reputable verification outlets. If there are significant discrepancies between user uploads and official reports, why would that be? Editing, mislabeling, or planned disinformation? Remember, the truth often emerges from a small pile of evidence, not from one dramatic clip. Sharp criticism. Why do we rarely question digitally produced collective emotions? When millions of people see pieces of the same moment, who formulates the meaning behind them? Do we leave interpretation to the dominant narrative, or do we demand clarification? Every time an event becomes content, there is a risk that it turns into a product, and that undermines the quality of public information. Now to you readers, do you really believe that this event is real, or is it just a fabrication aimed at attracting media attention? Do you feel the need to look for primary sources, or are you satisfied with what you see on your timeline? Challenge your own answer. If strong evidence comes later, will you change your opinion? If it proves to be a hoax, what are the consequences for a society that is already emotionally involved? Skepticism is not cynicism, but rather intellectual vigilance. Being reflective does not mean rejecting every piece of news, but weighing it proportionally. We convey this information based on various uploads on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and several other media, but the final truth still needs to be verified further. Therefore, we invite you to remain critical, double-check claims, and discuss with evidence in hand, and please share your opinion, real or fabricated. How would you rate the role of an eyewitness versus a curated snippet of a video? Are our eyes more believable than screens? Don't let momentary newness shape the narrative. Write down your reasons and the evidence you think is most compelling. Can you revise your opinion as new data emerges, or do you prefer to stick to your original beliefs? Tag sources from TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, or other media, and let's test together the validity of this story from different points of view. Also write down if you find chronology inconsistencies, suspicious metadata, or signs of digital manipulation. Isn't a little skepticism better than a big regret? Yuck. Thank you.